Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto. Let's dig into some of the topics that I have covered during the Crypto Minute. Now, the other day I had released a video and I was talking about FedNow and how it's going to come out and there's a lot of controversy around it. What people are not doing is they're not putting together the idea of the United States still is thinking about doing a CBDC. Now, what would a CBDC do except complete the circle for FedNow, right? FedNow is a service that's going to be offered to banks to help them, move and transfer funds at a faster rate, kind of like a Cash App, a Venmo, those kinds of tools that are out there already. Crypto, just saying. And then they want to offer a CBDC. Now, with FedNow, you can't really, I can't close your account. FedNow can't close your account. They can impede your account. They can impede it to a point where you would be unable to maneuver money between institutions, right? Now, that doesn't kill your account, doesn't blacklist your account. They can just say, nope, we're not going to do anything for that account. That would kind of send a message and kind of say that maybe your account is blacklisted in a way because it might make financial institutions not want to work with that account. So it would have an unofficial ripple effect. Now, let's suppose that the United States moves to a CBDC. That would kind of close the circle, wouldn't it? Right? Think about it. A CBDC attached, is probably going to be, it would be on a blockchain, a private blockchain, and they'd be able to control that account. They'd be able to control the flow of money. Think about that. You want a bag of chips. U.S. government thinks you're fat. They say no. I know that's an extreme. But that is a fact. That can happen. That would be able to happen in that kind of scenario. Now, if you couple FedNow with a CBDC, that controls your whole financial being. That takes control from the citizenry to the government. That should scare a lot of people. I know it scares me. So I'm keeping up on it and I'm continuing to do my research on it. And I will continue to, try to push back on the issuance of or the implementation of FedNow and definitely an implementation of a CBDC. Don't know if that'll go anywhere, but I want my voice to be heard. Now, everybody knows I took yesterday off, kind of had to do some traveling, take care of a few things. But wow, what the heck? I leave for, half a day? And all of a sudden, Ledger lost their freaking mind. I want you to think about this. Ledger says that, hey, we're going to offer this new service to all of our Nano X users, right? Nano X. And I use Nano, okay? I use their Ledger, Nano X. And I'm sitting there and I'm saying to myself, the service is meant to help you recover your keys. And this is how they're going to do it. They're going to split your keys into 3 parts, give 2 keys to 2 different companies, and they hold the last piece. Not your keys, not your crypto. They're saying that they would not be able to put the 3 keys together. And I've already heard people talk about, well, what happens if one of the companies goes out of business? What happens if there's some kind of collusion? Just what happens? If you have a good memory, you can memorize your keys. You can store your keys in a safety deposit box. You can store your keys on a piece of paper and put it someplace where nobody would think to find it. You can get your own safe, your own fireproof safe, and keep your keys in there. You can purchase a digital device, say a phone, and get your own wallet and don't have that phone attached to the internet. There are a lot of things that you can do to store your keys. I know that I am moving everything off of my Ledger devices. And it's for obvious reasons. Because it says that there was always a backdoor for them to get your keys and transfer it to these companies and blah, 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 blah. You done lost your damn mind. And I don't know that you'll ever be able to get that trust back, so I'm out. Like they say on Shark Tank, I'm out. Then you have MetaMask. Now, this is actually pretty funny. MetaMask is saying they don't want to be sued should something go wrong, and they put it in their terms of service. I haven't read it yet, but I'm hearing a lot of noise about it, and I'm going to have to go check it out. And I'm sitting here and I'm saying to myself, wow. So if something goes wrong with their service, you can't sue them and you can't bring a class action suit, all that kind of stuff. I think things like that in contracts are complete BS. You're in business. Being a business carries risk. If you screw up, expect to get sued. Period. End of report. So MetaMask, I'm not really worried about MetaMask because I don't use MetaMask. I don't keep that much money on MetaMask. Like seriously, I keep less than $1,000 on MetaMask because MetaMask is one of a couple of services that I use to manage, my Web3 space. You've got to pay for Web3 access and all that good stuff, and that's what I use. So like, think about it. It's attached to my unstoppable domains. That's predominantly how I use it. Still, I am not down with that. I'm not a big fan of browser-based wallets anyway, so I do keep it to a minimum. I use other wallets. I use Trust Wallet. I use Coinbase Wallet sparingly. I use Coinomi. There are a number of wallets that I use, and I would tell you to go research using your own wallet. Remember, I don't really need a piece of hardware to even create a key. If you're smart, you can do it with a pen and paper. Pencil and paper if you don't like ink. But you get the idea. This is what I'm saying. Now, the SEC didn't want to give Coinbase a list of what they consider unregistered securities, but on a one-off, they can tell Grayscale that they think Filecoin is an unregistered security and that Grayscale should pull back their application to file for Filecoin Trust. Grayscale is definitely firing back. They're saying they're going to get back to them promptly with a legal basis as to why they believe Filecoin is not an unregistered security. This one-off enforcement style of regulation is not even going. It is proving to be unmanageable, unyielding rather. And a problem for the SEC. And it's going to get worse, I think. I really do. The U.S. House of Representatives have sent notice to regulators in the space, including CFTC, SEC, and the rest of them, that says, do not venture into the stablecoin space. We are working hard at developing a bill for stablecoins so that they can be regulated appropriately. Do not tread in that space. Do not front run stablecoins. Wow. That to me says, hey, don't touch stablecoins, but more importantly, we don't like how you do things, and we are awake and we're going to try to change it. So I expect more to come. Tether has pulled approximately $4.8 billion out of banks to reduce their risk. And I have yet to find a list of banks that they did that with. So it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It doesn't mean that it's not out there, but it does mean that they're kind of looking at it as, hey, Stitchy, this is my dog Stitch. Isn't he cute? So what they're doing is they're saying, we do not want to, have great risk in the banking space, right? So they pulled out some money. And what they're doing is they're taking some of that profit and they're putting it into Bitcoin. Now, it does increase their Bitcoin reserve mark, but you've got to say that's pretty good. But the fact that there's no list of banks means they did not want to do any harm to the banking industry. Just means they wanted to cover their tails. Voyager, to close it out for you, Voyager is now allowed to pay out 35%, liquidate and pay out 35% to their customers. I think that's pretty cool. I know it's only 35%, but at least it's something versus nothing. Anyway, you know what we should do? As usual, we should get to the numbers, and today I'm actually prepared. There you go. So now you have Bitcoin at 27,365. I'm expecting that to go up with certain pieces of news. I'm also expecting the fact that everybody's talking about there being some kind of better communication about the debt ceiling, that things are going to get better. I'm also paying attention to the idea that after the debt ceiling, I think things are going to start moving up again. Right now, we're just faced with a lot of worry. Still looking at Ethereum 1826, XRP at 47. I want to tell you that this morning when I woke up, it was at 44 cents. So it's already up. It's already up 3 cents. That's an almost 10% gain. It says 6 here, but really that's a rolling number. But think about that. That's pretty damn big. Even 6% is a big move. All right. There are a lot of coins out here that are starting to move into the green. I'm paying attention to Doge only because I see Doge staying at, at that 7 cent mark, 7 to 7.5 cents. It's going to need something major to move it. But I think after the debt ceiling crisis is over, I think we're going to see a lot of positive momentum. Let's skip over to the list, and you can see that certain things are starting to look positive. Polygon's got some positive news out, so they're hovering around the upper 80s. I need them to get back to $1. I'm still thinking this is a great DCA opportunity. I'm trying to get in as much as I can, but without touching my dry powder. To me, this is not a dry powder moment, at least not for me. Plus, I want to concentrate on dividing my dry powder between the different kinds of investments that I make. Something that I wanted to go here, you can see that Ethereum is deflationary. Look at the amount of Ethereum that was burned and the amount of Ethereum that was issued. And that's in a 7-day frame. That's a big deal. And people are not paying attention to it as much as they should, because if they were, Ethereum would be at a higher price. And I think that's coming soon. Don't have to worry about that. The fear and greed index, we're seeing at 51. We're in neutral territory. I think the second the debt ceiling is done, we're going to be deep into the greed territory over here. We should hit at least 65 when that's done, if it gets done. I'm confident that it will, but there's always got to be that if, because people get stupid. Then you still have the total value locked in DeFi being at $61 billion, and that's still very low. I'm thinking about where we used to be, at above 200. So we've got a long way to go to improve, but that ought to tell you what's going on. If you look at my my chart, I keep telling you we're basically staying lateral, and we'll stay here with that lateral movement. And I'm noticing we've hit a kind of subspace. So here's my two green bars at 31,580 and 26,475, and then you have my orange bar at 28,28, right? And we're kind of moving laterally between the 28,28 and the 26,475. Now let's see if we can get back up above that 28,28, because I think that when we crush through that 28,28, we're going to crush through 30, and then 35,000 is not that far away. Now, something else that I wanted to touch on, the other day on Tuesday, I had mentioned that, Apple's going to come out with their own VR or mixed reality headset. I want you to understand how much that means for metaverse development, right? Apple's putting tons of money into that space. Other companies are putting tons of money into that space, and that's going to pull people in. And how do you play around in the metaverse? With crypto. Anyway, this is Eddie J on crypto. I hope my information helps you, and I hope it spurs you to do your own research and make the right choices for yourself. I don't give financial information or financial advice to people. I share it with my kids. They share it with me, and we try to just take you along our journey. I hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.